Hello, hello. It is not Tuesday, but Wednesday. And it's Let's Talk with Carrie Janie. I am a day late today. No, I'm just playing, but I decided to rearrange my schedule just for this week, just so I can have this special guest on today. So again, I talked about last month. Well, not last month, but March. I did all women, and I had a break for April. And this month, I was coming with all men, talking about different things that men deal with or are involved with as well as women. So today's show is going to be men and entrepreneurships and entrepreneurship. So I have a special guest that many of you know, many of you don't know, but you're going to know today. You will get a chance to meet him, and he's going to talk about entrepreneurship in detail. I know when I had the women on, we talked about entrepreneurship and some of the things we may deal with, some of the setbacks. But today we're going to just go head on entrepreneurship and what that looks like. How do you start, and different questions like that. So if you have questions today, this is the day to ask the questions, okay? So I really know this guest very well, very educated, very entrepreneurial, like serial entrepreneurial. He's a businessman. He wears so many hats, and he's a perfect person for today's show. So without further ado, I'm going to bring to you guys Mr. Diamond McNulty. Hi, Mr. Diamond McNulty. How are you doing today?
Outstanding. How you doing today?
Awesome. Well, awesome. Well, welcome to the Let's Talk um, Talk Show. And, today's subject is men and entrepreneurships. So before we get started too far into the conversation, just give us a little bit of background about you.
Just a little bit, I would say, born in Chicago, of course, currently in Atlanta, Georgia. It's been a great journey to success, of course, starting from the bottom of the bottom in the Cabrini Green projects.
Okay.
Most considered, what would I say, unfavorable for a lot of people, but actually navigating that to actually running 8 operations, authoring 15 books, and just
Wow.
helping so many other people succeed in business. So I'm excited.
So out of your entrepreneurial journey, since you've been doing it for so long, what would you say is your favorite project you've worked on?
It's twofold. So my favorite project, so I got to split it in half, of course. It's the culinary side where, of course, I'm an executive chef and I'm actually in the kitchen helping others, teaching them how to cook. But then it's the other hat where I teach kids, teens, adults how to fulfill their passion in life, how to become successful. So I'm extremely passionate about both. So I can't separate the two.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So, like again, today I promised my guests that we would talk about men and entrepreneurship. So we're going to jump right into that subject. So my first question for you is, what would you consider to be the three most critical steps to starting a business?
Well, in starting a business, I would say, aside from incorporating and everything of that sort, you want to get educated. You see a lot of people that are starting businesses, they get incorporated, but they don't have the mindset to run an operation, right? So they're not learning, they're not developing themselves, they're not expanding their mind, they're not surrounding themselves with the right people. So I would say get educated. And because it's gonna take you to think outside of the box when
Mm-hmm.
you take that leap of faith. What got you to this point will not get you to that next point. And we always talk about, me and you, we always talk about what it is to be a startup. But most people don't understand what it's starting up is good, but developing that business to actually, running itself into a full business instead of being self-employed, that's crucial. So I would say get educated is number one. Number two, I would say create a plan, right? So like
Mm.
I said, I've seen people start up businesses and without a business plan. I've seen people, put all their money into something, what I would call guessing, without actually knowing, solidifying their success, right? So not knowing the next step that they're going to take and why they're going to take those steps. So it's crucial for you to learn and create a plan of action for you to take in business. And the third thing I would say, take action, right? So you see a lot of people preparing themselves, and they get all ready to start a business, and they never shoot their gun. They're always just, I think I'm going to take it. So just take action. That's crucial.
Okay. So I like that. So number one, you said it's educate. Number two is plan, and then number three is take
Mhm.
action. Because a lot
Take
of people
action.
they do the first two things and they don't do the third thing. So that's important. And just in talking to you, of course, I'm just let the audience know we are business partners. So I do know a lot of background. Aren't you working on a little something that will help entrepreneurships, new entrepreneurs or people who are in entrepreneurship better their business right now?
Yeah, so you're talking about success recovery?
That
So
in business from scratch.
yeah, business from scratch. So actually it's twofold, right? So throughout my journey, like when we talk about coming from the bottom of the bottom, of course, I'm really passionate on helping others succeed. And that passion would not let me break through the next level without putting something in place for others to be successful. So when I first started, of course, I overcame the projects. I overcame all these other different obstacles, a lot of money in the bank accounts, actually putting myself in a position to win. So I wrote the book, How to Become a Successful Young Man, thus creating a successful young woman. And then throughout my entrepreneurial journey, now I just released Success Recovery to help those, because personally, I love to help so many people, but I don't have the time because, of course, I'm managing my own operations. So I just created those footsteps for others to walk in. So that's great. And business from scratch is actually an extension of that. So you have Success Recovery, which is the book, but then you have business from scratch, which is a step-by-step system for you to follow from the beginning to end. That's going to help you develop your business.
Wow, that's robust and that's amazing. I mean, I don't know a lot of people, and I've met a lot of people in my life. They dedicate their lives to helping people be successful. I think a lot of times you meet people who stay in their own bubble. They become successful. They know the tools. They do what they need to do, but they like you're on your own, and figuring out that journey. And so you have took so much of your life, even from, like you said, successful young man to successful young woman, and taking these steps to make sure that other people behind you or on the side of you also become successful. So I really applaud you for that. That's awesome that you're doing that.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next question for you. So we hear this a lot, and I know since been doing this for a long time, this may be a question that you should know, because I know you shot your shot on many businesses and all of them don't survive, right? But why do you think that most businesses fail? I said fall, but I meant fail within the first 5 years.
So most businesses fail because you're lacking something, right? Like we talked about in the first question, whether you're lacking education. You think that once you start the business, I started the business and that's it. You forget to develop the business. You lack the financial structure. Education is crucial, right? If you don't have the education, you have to surround yourself with the people that can help you succeed. So lack of team building, lack of leadership, bad decisions. It's so many reasons why people fail in business. But there's also a lot of reasons why people succeed, right? Persistence, right? So even if you make a mistake, you continue to never give up, and you take those lessons learned and you apply them to the business and you take those next steps. So it's just you're lacking something, right? So, but that's why that is why we prepare at the beginning, right? So proper preparation prevents poor performance. So if you prepare yourself and you surround yourself with the right people, the right mentors, you get educated, you can lessen your chances of failing in operations, right? You got to make sure your circle is full of people that can pour into you in business.
I like that, proper preparation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you hit on something, which is a good question to follow up on. So how important is mentorship in entrepreneurship? I know you kind of pride yourself on being a great mentor.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a mentor to me in my own personal entrepreneur journey. So how important is it for people to do that? Because I think some people miss that mark too in starting their businesses, and that could probably help them succeed if they had someone that had probably already did it or kind of know, the pitfalls to avoid,
Yeah, you're right. So mentorship is important, right? So, and you see a lot of people going through life thinking that they can do all things by themselves. But I always say this, I can't pinpoint not one time in my life where I didn't have a mentor or someone to glean from in business or in my personal life, so you need that model. You need somebody that's going to pour into you. And I mean, not just from the business standpoint, but just having that conversation, bouncing ideas off of is important, right? Especially if you're an independent entrepreneur and you have nobody with that mindset. Now you're alone, and that's a devil's workshop. So you really want to surround yourself with people that are 5 to 10 steps in front of you, so that they can, bring you up to speed. And then once you reach that mentor, then you 5 to 10 more steps. I mean, constantly continue to keep climbing. And I'll touch on one thing since you brought up that point. One of my mentors, Reg, I can pinpoint when I was a young entrepreneur coming up in business, where he not only supported me, but he allowed me to develop my skills within his operation, right? So
Oh, wow.
I found myself in the middle of the night doing business models in the garage, and we're just mapping out businesses. So you never know who's going to pour into you. So just connect with the right people.
I love that. I love that answer. That's crucial and that's important. I love that answer. So just to get a little deeper into the Diamond McNulty that we all know,
Yeah.
you wear so many hats, and like you said, you've been on this journey a long time. So if you could go back to your younger self, that 18-year-old Diamond that left everything and went to New Orleans just to, find a new leaf in life, turn over a new leaf in life. What would you say to him just starting out? Like, what would you say to your younger self now that you know what you know? You know what you know. What would you
Right.
say to him today?
So, I have a different perspective on that. So that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So I would say great job, right? So I think that a lot of people wouldn't be able to say that, but it started early, right? So I started young. I've always believed in myself. I've always taken risks. I've always navigated through ambiguity, right? The unknown comfortably. So a lot of people can't navigate through the unknown comfortably. So that started me earlier. I was 18, I was 16, I was, trial and error. So, and I tell you this, Cole, because we talk about this too. What most people don't understand is these big businesses, they call it research and development, right? So they're spending millions of dollars researching and developing so that they can find the solutions to all of their operations. But here on a smaller level, it's the same thing. But on a smaller level, what you're doing is you're investing that $200. And if you lose that $200, you're like, man, I give up, I quit. Now here, same thing, big business, small business. So you got to continue to pour into yourself, because those little losses that you think you might have taken, it's nothing but research and development. The goal is to just pivot and keep going forward.
I like that. Pivot and keep going forward. But I
Mhm.
like what you said, that you would tell your younger self, great. I
Great job.
mean, we ask that question sometimes in different settings. Like even with my girls, you may say, what would you tell your younger self if you were 16? Girl, don't leave that boy alone. Stuff like that. But you said you would tell yourself, great, you're
Great
doing great. And that's good, because entrepreneurship, people need to know it's hard. It's hard, but you do need to take some steps back sometimes and say, you know what? You did a good job. Or you did a great job. So I appreciate you saying that. And
job.
also I like what you said about not being scared of the unknown. So for those entrepreneurs watching this or will watch this later, that's critical what Diamond just said, because as many times it is an unknown journey. You don't know what's behind door number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're gonna have to go through all of them at some point on
Right.
your journey. So being aware of that is very important. So I'm glad you brought that up. That was a great point to bring up, to just go ahead and go into uncharted waters and just take it by storm. So great answer, great answer. So
Thank you.
again, if you're just joining us, guys, we are here talking to my special co-host today, Diamond McNulty, who is the CEO of McNulty International. Go check out the website, www.mcnultyinternational.com, and you can see all the great things he's doing. We'll plug up some other things throughout the show, but just in case you just logged in with us today, that's what we're doing, and that's who we're talking to. So our next question is, what advice would you give someone who hasn't started but is holding on to a seed in entrepreneurship? What would you say?
So, we come across that often, right? So those people who are afraid to take the leap, those people who are afraid to invest in themselves. So I would personally tell them, one, buy the book Success Recovery, of course, that I just wrote.
Mhm.
And that's going to give you all of the nuggets to overcome that fear, right? It's going to give you clarity in all the things that you're having tension in. And, because it's a formula to success. Cole. And I mean, throughout the journey, when you come up and we're just starting something that you don't know, of course, you just don't know. So, take it easy on yourself, but take that next step, buy that next book, whether it's a book on entrepreneurship. But when I say it's a formula to success, I mean, it's truly a formula. I just gave a speech when was this at the identity tour, and I talked about the 5 things, right? So identifying your gift, right? Activating your gift, developing your gift, learning to monetize your gift, and then creating an ecosystem around your gift, right? So I think at the beginning, being able to communicate what success looked like and the steps needed to take is tough because you just don't know. But that's why you show up and you watch like your show. I appreciate you for even having this show or having me on because it's going to help a lot of people. But those 5 things are crucial because some people get stuck on step 1. They can't even identify their gifts, right? Let alone activate them. And then you see people trying to monetize their gifts when they haven't developed them. It's out of order, right? So it's a formula to this thing called success. So glean from those people who are already 10 steps ahead of you. I'll say it 10 times. Glean from those people that are ahead of you. Buy their book, $20, $30. I spent $2,000 on courses. It doesn't matter because that information is so important. That information is somebody's soul. So think about it like this, because I call it, I'm soul searching, right? So if you have somebody that's a billionaire and they got a book that's $35, for $35, I'm literally going to be able to learn all that information. I call it soul searching. Take all that information and within an hour, 2 hours, I listen to audiobooks. That's, 4 hours. You can take 30 years and compress it into 4 hours. People don't understand how powerful that is, but taking that step to get that information and actually applying it to your life, applying it to your operation is crucial as well. So it's a formula. Like I said, I'll stick with that.
Okay. I like that. And I like also just to, like I said, you mentor me. A lot of things you say at times is that God to give you a seed or something to work on. And if you don't manifest it, he'll get that same seed to somebody else.
I'm going to take it. He's going to give it to me.
Right. If you get on the right person's mind and place, they're going to do what you said in the beginning. They're going to execute on it. They're going to not just hold it in their head and educate themselves, but they're going to take action. So it's important that if you know that you got something that's, a blue ocean or something that's amazing in your spirit that God gave you, that you execute that thing, because somebody else probably going to get that same seed and they may just go ahead and beat you to the punch. So I wanted to mention that real quickly.
So let me touch on that, Cole, because I'm writing a book, Successful Entrepreneur. And we talk about that, right? So identifying your most valuable, I call it your MVP, your most valuable passion, and your MVG, your most valuable gift, right? So, but I also talk about, monetizing that. What you want to do is, if you are in a space right now where you're trying to figure out and trying to navigate, okay, well, even just taking that step, it's going to kill me. No, it's not going to kill you. Think about it. If you do not take that next step, what's going to happen? So you might as well take the step. What you want to do is you want to take systems. You want to find systems and routines that's going to allow you to be comfortable in taking those steps. So me, personally, I have systems and routines in place. So when an idea come to me, there's a step-by-step process that I personally take. I'm not going to say it here. We'll do it in the mastermind group. But there are step-by-step process that I take, whether I have a business venture, whether I have, and just an invention, right? Whether I have something that I just want to personally invest in, whether it's someone else I want to mentor. Everything that I do in life and in business is a step-by-step process that I created a formula for me to be successful after going through that process already.
Awesome. Wow. I told you guys, this man's brain is something else. He's so system driven. That's great though. But you have to have systems, and you have to have, most importantly, routines as well in order to be successful. I mean, if you go on and you just Google, what do most entrepreneurs or billionaires, because Jeff Bezos and all them, they were once, people who just had a seed. They just had an idea and now they're billionaires. But you can follow along. And it's almost the same thing in Diamond is saying here, is that they take steps. They do put things in place. It's funny that you were saying what you said. DB came in here and said about your younger self question. I would tell my younger self to pick a skill, master it, and then monetize it. stay away from the MLMs. I don't know what he meant by that. You know?
Multi-level marketing.
Oh, got it. Got
If
it.
that's
I
what you're
love
saying,
it.
put it
I love
back down there. I think that's what you're saying.
it. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
so mastery, I'm glad you said that, D. Mastery is extremely important. I'm telling you. So that allows, that's when we talk about developing that skill. When I talked about after you activate it, of course, you got to develop that skill. You start off, if you're a photographer, you just taking pictures, but you want to grow that, right? So you got to become that master at that so that become more valuable. It's a formula to value. I tell you, it's so many formulas that you can apply to yourself, to business, and to life. So that's crucial.
Absolutely. We had a question that came in here from from YouTube. No, Twitch. I'm sorry. It's a Twitch
Mhm.
logo on there. Would you say a Machiavellian mindset is
Mhm.
essential to succeed in business? So
Well,
I just, you know, because I was all I know about Machiavelli is that he faked his own death. But you may know more. So go
so,
ahead.
so what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking, of course, like you say, being driven with persistence, right? So,
Mhm.
for what I'm thinking is, your mindset is going to either make or break you, right? So if you can't, if you need someone to cheer you on all day and all night in order to be successful in business, it's not going to work. I've literally had years, and I said I had years in the middle of the night where I was going from 5 a.m. around the clock to without anybody saying good job. Nobody's going to say good job. You have to believe in yourself. One, you have to never give up. It just, there is no end. We're
Right.
going forward because the seed was planted in you a long time ago. And I think so, just to put it into perspective, so the seed that was planted into me at, I think I was in high school. So I want to say between the ages of 12 and 16, God already told me who I was going to be, right? So it's for me to identify all of the different tools, resources, people, the journey to navigate through it. He already told me my destination, right? And if I tell you my destination, most people, it's overwhelming. It's scary, right? To say that you're going to be the wealthiest in the world. It's scary to tell somebody that you're going to be extremely successful. But once you pull back from the scariness of actually saying, I'm going to be extremely successful, and you put it into bite-sized pieces, into steps to actually overcome that, it's simple. It's only really two ways to make money, right? So we talk about that. And most people don't know it's two
Products,
ways to make money.
products and services, right?
But then how does that apply to you, your gifts,
Right.
your passion, right? Your purpose in life. So
Right.
most people can know this side, but they may not know this side and how it ties together with them. So we're mismatched, right? So we're not understanding that all of these things go together. So in order to put it together, one, like I said, you can connect with people who are 10 steps ahead of you and get that information and soul search it. Or you can take 12 years like it took them, or 20 years, and actually go through the lessons and learn them yourself.
Absolutely. And I like what you're saying, and also just to add on to what you're saying for the mindset. Like I said, I don't know a lot about Machiavelli, but I will say that a mindset is important when it comes to succeeding in business because, like you said, you're not going to always like you said, have those cheerleaders, but
Yeah.
B, you might not even, get the support you thought you're gonna get. I mean, people come out of business like, oh, I got a great idea. I'm gonna sell out on my services and my products. And you may not get a sale that whole first year. So your mindset has to be that I'm going to succeed no matter what. And then you don't give up because if you don't have a strong mindset, like they say, this journey ain't for the weak at heart. So if you weak at heart and you don't get your mind ain't right, you're gonna
Yeah.
be depressed. You're gonna be like, you know what, forget
You got
entrepreneurship. Like I've thought about plenty of times. I'm going back to corporate America because it's not something that's easy. So, I'm
it's
glad
not.
he said that mindset is super important when it comes to being successful in business.
It's
Super.
not. But you got to make that one decision. And that one decision, if you're going to take that step, don't even look back. Don't ever second guess yourself, right? Just go forward. You're gonna be better off than you are today just by going forward. So it may be scary, just go forward. I can't tell you if looking back right now, connecting the dots, like Steve Jobs always say, connect the dots looking back. Connecting these dots looking back at the beginning when I wrote my first book, or when I invested in Chef Diamond, and I was saying, okay, well, I'm gonna turn myself into a cartoon. I never knew I was gonna be where I'm at today, but I just one step at a time, I just kept going forward. And here we are right now with a brand that's in the blue ocean that no one is in.
Right.
There's nobody in my space, and we're running 1,000 miles per hour. So I'm gonna talk to y'all. Hopefully, ain't nobody else paying attention, but we're running 1,000 miles per hour. So, and I'm not paying attention to my competition if there is any.
Right.
I'm gone. So they're gonna have to catch me.
Mindset to win.
It's got to
Period.
go. Energy to
That
win.
was it. That was it. So our next question I have for you. So like I said, I talked to women back in March. But I mean, some people may have this question, may not, but what do you think is the difference? Is it a difference in how society supports women entrepreneurs versus male entrepreneurs? Do you feel like there's a even playing field? What are your thoughts?
I think it's an even playing field, right? So entrepreneurship alone levels the playing field. It's nothing like corporate America. Corporate America, then we can have that conversation on, men and women and race, etc., depending on where you're at. But in entrepreneurship, it levels the playing field. You see women that are crushing it. You see men that are crushing it. You see people that are losing and learning over here. You see people that are losing and learning. Only the strong survive. So you just got to show up every day, head down, ready to go, ready to, get to that next step for the next day.
Absolutely. So like you said that it is a level. It is. I believe the same thing. It is a level playing field. So that's why you don't have to be fearful that, oh, I'm not a man, I can't do this. I can't. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. No, if you got a mindset to do this, you can do it. And I think you get the same support from whether you a man or a woman. I agree. Yeah.
So let me touch on that too. What you just said, like, because there's some people that come up with these excuses, right? Or I have kids, or I have a son, or I have a family, or I have, you got to figure out a way. If something is planted inside of you, you have to figure out a way. If you may lose 2 hours of sleep every night for this entire week, of course, right? So that's 14 hours you're gaining for this week. So I would stop making excuses, because successful people don't make excuses. We create solutions, and we continue to focus and drive towards that goal. So your family is dependent on you to succeed, right? So what is your why? So for me, when I started off, I was always looking back. I could still see my refrigerator from the projects, right? So I'm still fueled off of that.
Wow.
So, and to this day, so imagine where it's going to take me. So you got to look in your child's eyes. You got to look in your mom's eyes. You got to look in your spouse. You got to, while they're sleeping or while they're watching TV or something, you just got to sit back and just look at your life, look at your family, look at your house. And, ask yourself, do you want better? Do you want more? So we're not asking ourselves the right questions, right? And we're ignoring the answers too. So I'm going to say that again. We're not asking ourselves the right questions. And when we do, we're ignoring the answers. So the answers would say, well, stay up an extra hour, work on this. The answer would say, don't spend that $100 on that, spend it on this. Right. So you got to make the right decisions if you want to be an entrepreneur. So I've literally put my all into it sometimes, and it didn't matter, right?
You do. Yeah, absolutely.
Because my reward is greater.
Yeah.
My reward has been greater. You go from making at a 9 to 5, what they say, what's minimum wage? 14 an hour?
It depends on where you live at, but let's just go with 14.
Let's say you go from making 14 and that's your cap. Think about it. I never understood how somebody would say 14 is my cap, right? Not only is 14 my cap, but you have to go 365 days a year and only get 14 days of vacation. You mean to tell me, hold on.
Not if you don't get 14 days and no
7 days
minimum wage.
But you get 5. That's crazy. That's crazy. Out of the whole year, you only get 5 days to 14 days of vacation, right?
It's funny you say that because I have a taste of both worlds, right? I work for corporate America. I have a master's degree and all that. And then I went to entrepreneurship. It wasn't to this past weekend where my mother and them flew into town. that I realized that I love being an entrepreneur. I'm like, wow, I set my own schedule. I
Mhm.
set my own days off. If I wanted to take 30 days off this year, I could. So to your point, where a company will only give you what they want to give you, as an entrepreneur, you're able to maneuver and do things the way you want to do it. And it's like, even now, with this remote stuff that we're going through with COVID, you can still take your business and go anywhere in the world, because it's yours, and no one's going to tell you, oh, we don't do business in Dubai. Oh, we don't do business in Cabo. Oh, well, I do. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
being an entrepreneur, you're able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. So I do appreciate that part of the journey.
Yeah. Let me touch on that, Cole.
Sure.
So like you were saying, and we're gonna go back and forth because I could talk about this all day, but if there's somebody that is in corporate America, it's cool. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with and I wrote about this in Success Recovery. That may be your pathway. Your pathway may be for you to be in corporate America. That may be where you fit.
Right.
But whatever you take, when you take your money and you take whatever you have left over and you see opportunities, you see investments that you can look. So you always want to be clear on what you can do with the funds that you're making so that you can continue to grow. You can be in corporate America and do it. That's perfectly fine. So I don't want to knock corporate America
Oh, no,
because
absolutely not.
I love both, right? So I love on this.
Definitely love the consistent of getting that paid every 2 weeks. Trust me. No, I understand.
No, but it's a difference, right? So on
Mhm.
this journey, right? So sometimes you're going to be in corporate America, then you're going to take a leap and you're going to be out of corporate America, and then you're going to learn some lessons. Then you're going to be like, you know what? This is a bad patch for me. I'm going to go back. So what you'll figure out is how to navigate back and forth, right? So
Right.
because you are a valued asset, once you learn how to create value, you can get money anywhere, right? So you go in corporate America and you're making double and triple and double and you're tripling up, and then your business is running without you. So think about it like this, and this is something that a mentor always told me. So we talk about self-employed and then we talk about business owners. You want to reach the point to where you're a business owner. Your operation is running without you. If
Mhm.
you're in the operation, then you're self-employed. That's perfectly fine as you continue to grow and you continue to develop your business, but a business should run without you. So
Mhm.
that means you have to learn systems and processes, right? You have to learn human resources, how to put people in position to actually run. You have to raise the money in order to pay people. So this is a video game. When I say success is my video game, I love every facet of business. I love every facet of this entrepreneurial journey. So I'm figuring out, okay, this designer is great. This designer is great. Okay, well, this photographer. So you in control of your destiny. So just take control. I'm telling you, and
Absolutely.
start now.
Absolutely. You said a lot there. I can't even go back myself and take all the notes, but I do agree with you. You could be a hybrid entrepreneur and work for corporate America. You can dip back and forth. I mean, I do know people. I've met a millionaire one time that was on my team as a project manager, and was a millionaire because he said, I just wanted to come back and pay off something, and I don't want to use my own money.
Mhm.
So it's absolutely a tool that you can use if you have the right skill set to go back and forth. So I definitely agree with you on that. We have another question that came in from Jarnell. He said, how do you handle the adversity of entrepreneurship, the no's and the lows? That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I start with the first part, right? So adversity, and then the no's and the lows. So matter of fact, I'm gonna tie it all together. Um, so it's like this, right? So you have to get that thick skin. You have to have. So no doesn't matter, right?
Mhm.
No means next opportunity. So it's mindset, right? Next opportunity. So if you go into business and you think about, let's say for instance, if you was in sales, right? In sales, you get a lot of no's,
You
but
do.
everybody's in sales. So everybody should get comfortable with hearing no. It shouldn't be foreign for somebody to say, I'm not interested. If you're a man or a woman and you're interested in somebody else and they're like, nah, it should be okay. That's their decision. If you're in business and someone says not right now, it's okay. Just continue to move forward. every time you hit a no, the next one is a yes. So one, you want to stay focused and continue to go. And then you want to look at the broad spectrum, right? So sometimes you're going to have those days where you're down and out. You're like, God, this week has just crushed me, right? So this week, literally, I'm done with this week. They can have this week. It's going down in the record books. And in that moment, this is where your mindset plays into a part where you're like, okay, well, if you can understand what you're going through and the feelings and the emotions that you have, and DB is on emotional intelligence. If you can understand that, man, this week was so bad, I'm starting to feel depression. If you're aware that I'm not feeling good because I'm starting to feel a little bit down, just take a day, get some rest. Like when Carrie said, I put systems and things in place that pump me up, right? So I know my favorite restaurant, right? So if I have a bad day, I'm gonna go to my favorite restaurant. You know, if I have an off moment, I'm gonna go grab me my favorite smoothie. You know, if I have a bad hit, I'm gonna talk to my favorite people, because you know you need people and you need things that keep you motivated throughout this process. So I know my triggers. You got to know your triggers. So for me, I know what shifts my mindset and what gets me back on track when I lose a sale or something like that. It just boom, lost a sale, perfect. Go grab me something and get back at it. But you're gonna have that time. You're gonna have those times where you're gonna go through adversity and it's gonna get tough. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be days where you're gonna go through it. But think about it like this: where you're going to go is better than where you are right now. So trust me, where you're going to go forward, any forward motion, positive motion is going to push you forward. Nothing, this is another mentor told me, he said, nothing stays the same. Either you're increasing or you decreasing, right? Either you're increasing, it's a book called The Slight Edge. So y'all can grab that. And it talks about he was telling me how Kobe just a little bit at a time, kept getting better. But if you're not increasing and you're not learning, you're dying. That's why we talk about there's no such thing as retiring, right? What happens when you stop? What happens to a car that just sits there? It dies. You got to continue to go. You got to continue to persist. You have to have the mindset that entrepreneurship, all those no's, that's a video game. All the adversity is going to happen. It wouldn't be no fun without obstacles. It's fun to be a problem solver. It's fun to be solution oriented. That mindset is going to get you past through those tough times.
Absolutely. And I just want to add, because you said some good stuff, you really got it. And Janelle is helping you by bringing it back up, The Slight Edge, the book.
That's good.
Yes. And the one thing that I would say also when it deals with the no's is that I think Tyler Perry said this, or not P. Diddy, but somebody. But I think it's Tyler Perry. All you need is that one yes. Okay. So sometimes, depending on what your business model is and what you're working on, that one yes can change your whole life around. So you can't get discouraged by the no's, and then go back to what we were talking about earlier, having that mindset. Because when you have a certain mindset, those no's kind of can fuel you to keep going, because also understanding why you're doing it is important. Understanding why you have this business. So if it was a seed or something that God gave you, a passion that God gave you, no is going to discourage you, because God already gave you the yes. God already gave you the win, so you're going to keep going. And I ain't trying to preach, but yes, that's just going to say that too. So, but you do go through the lows, but you answered that question pretty well. But yes, all you need is that one yes. And Rose came in and said, "You are in control of your destiny. Take control." And thank you she said, great conversation. Thank you for that, Rose. But that's true. Entrepreneurship does allow you to take control of your destiny.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's nothing wrong with corporate America, but just know this: if something happens, you get sick, or something happens, they don't care about sending you no pink slip and saying you gotta go, or something happens that they'll replace you. You're replaceable, but when you have your own, nobody can't come in and take what's yours.
Yeah.
So it's kind of great to be in both positions where you are like kind of a hybrid, where you can be able to go back and forth, or you have your hands in both areas, so that way you're always kind of stable and secure no matter what happens around you.
Yeah, while you're climbing that ladder, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to figure out what your navigation is, right? So some people are 100% in their business and they're crushing it. Some people are playing both, they're crushing it, right? Up until they get a point where they catch on over here, because it's going to take you a while to figure it out. And when we talk about entrepreneurship and we talk about the new term, no cap, there's no cap on what you can make in entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
a cap on your salary for that year. Your cap is 100,000. That's your cap.
Right.
That's what you're getting, unless you're getting bonuses. Entrepreneurship, hey,
Sky's the limit.
let me
Right.
tell you,
Right.
look at my,
No, I see you. I see you. All right. So we got one more question here, and we'll probably wrap up early tonight. We have about 41 minutes in, so 45 to an hour. That's all I needed your time. But I want to give some people some good seeds tonight. I think we did a great job. So thank you again for being on the show.
yeah.
But I could not have this conversation with two Black entrepreneurs on here, and in this Black community, even being in the Mecca of Atlanta, how
Mhm.
important it is to get support from your community. But do you feel, as an African American entrepreneur, that you get enough support from your community as a Black owned business?
So I'm gonna look at it from two different ways, right? So I think that in our community that the support is growing. I think that we're doing a great job, and I'm seeing everybody start to support each other more, start to share, start. Now, when I first started up, the support wasn't as prominent as it is now. So I can definitely see the growth. So not that's why knowledge is power. So a lot of people don't even know that they're not supporting. A lot of people don't even know that a like, a share, a comment is support. They think that a purchase is the only way you can support. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't know that a referral, just because you don't need that
Yes.
person's product, that you can't pass it on to four family members that need. So it's so many ways to support. Now, as far as me in general right now, so I've climbed the ladder to the point to where I'm not necessarily, it's not that I'm not looking for support, but that's not my driving factor, right? So my driving factor is the impact. My
Mm-hmm.
driving factor, I'm not counting how many people I know around me that's supporting me. That was at my beginning stages in entrepreneurship. When I'm first releasing something and I'm not aware that it really don't matter. So it doesn't, if you don't have the people around you supporting you, it's okay. You're going to succeed to a point where it don't even matter, because you're going to open yourself up to the world. And then you're going to blow up so much that you're not even aware of who, what, when, why, how. You just appreciate where God is taking you on your journey. So I think in our community right now, what we should do is continue to, like I said, promote each other, share with your friends and family members, continue to just pour into your friend and your family member. If you see them starting an entrepreneurship, you want to support them from the beginning, because if you're thinking about taking that leap and you haven't supported anybody, they call it karma, but somebody,
Yep.
they may even, people are petty, right? So
Yep.
uh,
Petty Betty's.
I'm not like that. I support everybody,
Right.
regardless of whether
Right.
you support me or not. But my goal was to create on this success journey. My goal is to create the footprints for you to walk in. So if you have a young man or a young daughter that you want to be successful in life, or if you're in the community, if you're in the projects or you're in an unfavorable environment, grab that book, give it to them, reach out to me, because that's the footsteps, right? Those are the footsteps they can walk in order to see. And then you can have those crucial conversations with your son or with your daughter, or with, then as far as entrepreneurship, success recovery, that's the footstep, right? So if I've done my part. So this is what I tell everyone, right? So it took me so long to create it. The weight is off my shoulder. I didn't create it. Of course, products, you make money, but I didn't create it to focus on the money, because my Chef Diamond and friend is my gift. My gift is the gift of cooking. The
Mm-hmm.
gift of me creating these success materials is my gift to give back to others. So it's a difference. I'm going to cook and run 1,000 miles per hour. But this is a way for me, since I don't have the time, to reach back and say, here you go. This is what you need. I don't have the
Put
time,
it in
but
the book. So yeah, like they say, everybody don't, there are secrets in books. And if you're not a reader, you're gonna lose out on learning how to scale your business and grow yourself faster because you
Mhm.
didn't do a book. So it's good that I'm glad that audiobooks came out and everything else, because there's so many now channels into getting that knowledge from a book if you just can't have the time to sit down and read it. But if you're on an airplane, you can put on your headphones. You're in a car, you can put on the radio. So but that's good that you're doing it that way through a book. I like that.
Yeah.
I was going to add to this question just a little bit, is that I do think that it's slow and steady when it comes to
Mhm.
support of Black businesses. However, I will say this: if you have your own people supporting you, please, and I do business coaching, give them the best customer service ever. I think that that's what we lack sometimes. And you lose customers and you lose business. And you're like, oh, well, my people not supporting me. But did you give them the best customer service possible? I am very big on customer service. And every time I talk to new entrepreneurs or people that come across my plate when I'm helping them grow their business, is I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that we give the best customer service to, especially to your community. If you want that
Yeah.
continuous support from your community, have some great customer service. If something goes wrong, be Johnny on the spot. Some emails, whatever it is, be a great entrepreneur in that way. And I promise you, people in your name will start to spread throughout the community. Like, oh, I'm gonna go get my stuff from them because they got great customer service. I'm gonna support them. They got great customer service. So having great customer service will also guarantee you a lot of support in your community.
Oh, definitely.
So we've had a great time here, and we said a lot. So hopefully people tuned in and they saw a lot of things. So before we end, of course, I gotta have you plug yourself a little bit. So I know here's your IG and stuff here, how people can find you and follow Chef Diamond. So what else? How else can they find you?
So you can find me on all social medias, of course, at Real Chef Diamond or Diamond McNulty, either or.
Okay.
So before we even close out, I got to say I'm extremely proud of you for creating this platform to pour
Thank
back or give back to the community. It's not too often where you have someone with that heart to give. Of course, we have the same heart of giving, but
you.
um, you just want you created this platform because you wanted to have certain conversations, and those conversations are being had. So one, I just wanted to let you know, great job. I enjoyed tonight.
Thank
um yeah, second part, I want to tell everybody if they're watching this later on, right? So just a quick recap: the world is your playground. So think about it like that. Success is a video game. Ignore fear, ignore it, like continue to push through, because but you got to start now, so continue to push through. So everybody on here, and it's sent me to tell you this: there's somebody out there that has a seed right now that they've been ignoring, that they've been taking their time. I know, because I come across people every day that's taking their time and shooting that gun.
you.
But I'm telling you, but the world is your playground. And the only way that you can move forward, move your next generation forward, or move generations forward, is by you taking those steps into the unknown. You're not going to lose money. You're going to learn lessons, and you're going to do what we call research and development.
Mm-hmm.
So take calculated risks so that you can succeed. Weigh out all the different options. Don't just throw your money out there in the air. Take those calculated risks after weighing those options, after talking to those mentors, and after connecting with those people that are in your circle, that are in that space where you're trying to go, after surrounding yourself with the right people, and learning and educating yourself and coming up with those plans. But never give up. I'm telling you, even during the hard times, hey, send me a message. Man, I'm struggling with this. I'll reach back, send me a DM, or comment on something that I'm doing right now, and I'll reach back, because, like you said, everybody needs to be encouraged throughout this time, especially in entrepreneurship, because I know everybody has their goals that they're striving for, and a lot of people are hitting those rough patches. But it's going to get better tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Well, you guys heard it here first. From Diamond McNulty, the world is your playground.
Mhm.
Success is a video game, one of his favorite quotes that he has. And also, I have to leave one of his other favorite things he loves to say. He's taking over the world, and you can do the same thing. So take over the world. Come back and watch this episode as much as you need to get all those nuggets out and understand that entrepreneurship controls your destiny. So you are in control. Um, I am again happy that you were here as a guest. And I have to leave, but not leave without telling people how to continue to follow me. I'm here every Tuesday. Today is just a little a different schedule for me, but usually I'm here on Tuesdays, every Tuesdays at 7:30. And I, again, like Diamond said, I try to cover as many subjects as possible for different people to learn different things. So I do this every week from the goodness of my heart, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. I enjoy the feedback that I get in all the DMs. Thank you so much for y'all support. And again, you can follow me on Facebook, IG, and YouTube, all at Carrie Janie. And till next time, I will see you guys later. Let me make sure I have any more questions that came up. Oh no, just an excellent show. Well, appreciate it, Janelle. Thank you guys, and you guys have a great evening.
Y'all have a great evening.
Bye.